One common misconception that exists in today's world is that friction is always in the opposite direction of motion. Now, the key word in that statement being always, because that indeed is false. As you'll see in this video, friction is not always in the opposite direction of motion. Let's take a look why. Watching these first two clips, clear examples of friction actually moving in the opposite direction of motion. Here is a great example of friction moving in the opposite direction of motion. A box slides across the table to the left while friction opposes it to the right until it comes to a complete stop. In this next example, a soccer ball is kicked in a backyard, and as the soccer ball moves in motion to the right, friction slows it down as it opposes the motion to the left until, like the box, it comes to a complete stop. Here's just a better visual understanding and a better picture of why the soccer ball came to a complete stop. As you can see, the soccer ball's motion and velocity is toward the right, but the friction represented by the red arrow between the ball and the ground is slowing it down with the dragging force in the complete opposite direction. So far in every example we've looked at, friction has always opposed the motion. But in these two next examples we will look at, it will prove it wrong and show that friction doesn't always move in the opposite direction. As you can see in this example, which proves the misconception wrong, when the car starts to accelerate, the tires push against the road in the backwards direction, while friction pushes in the forwards direction. But even though friction pushes in the forwards direction, the motion of the car is still forward. Let's take a look at one more example, why friction doesn't always oppose motion. As can be seen in this first example, a sprinter lines up to start his race. He plants his feet, getting ready to push in the backwards direction, while the friction opposes in the forwards direction. But ultimately, the runner will end up accelerating in the forwards motion, the same motion as the friction. In conclusion, a worldwide misconception that many people think to be true is that friction always moves in the opposite direction of motion. But in reality, this happens to be false. Clearly, as we just seen in the video, using the second two examples, it can be proven false that friction always moves in the opposite direction of motion, because in some cases, friction does happen to move in the same direction as motion.